In this video, we're going to determine or calculate the slope of a line when we're given the actual graph, okay? But we still want to use the slope formula. Okay, remember in a previous video, we used rise over run when we were given a graph, and you can always use that. So don't think you're locked into just using the formula, okay? But if you can determine 2 points that are on the graph of a line, then you can always use the slope formula to calculate or determine that slope, okay? So first thing, just to kind of reiterate, the definition of a slope is the ratio of rise to run for any 2 points on a line. We could also say it's the ratio of the difference between the y coordinates and the difference between the x coordinates, okay? So slope again, we use the variable m, it's rise over run, it's change in y over change in x, okay? And we recently learned the formula, so remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or the y coordinate for the second point minus the y coordinate for the first point, divided by the x coordinate for the second point minus the x coordinate for the first point, okay? So we worked examples 1 and 2 previously, so let's look at example 3 here, okay? So we've got a graph, and we know these 2 points are on the line, okay? So again, remember, you can always use the rise over run triangle, so do the rise here, okay, which is 2. You can do the run here, which appears to be 4. Okay, so the rise is 2, the run is 4. So my slope should be 2 over 4, which simplifies to 1/2, all right? So if you've got a graph, that's the easiest way to do it. But remember, we're practicing the slope formula. So I know my answer is 1/2, so let's just verify that using the formula. All right, so my x1, y1, I'm going to use this as my first point. Remember, it doesn't matter what's your first point, what's your second point. You'll get the same answer, okay? So my second point's going to be 8, 6. All right, and I want to plug those into the formula. All right, so in the numerator, I'm going to have 6 minus 4, so 6 minus 4. In the denominator, I'm going to have 8 minus 4. So 6 minus 4 over 8 minus 4. Numerator simplifies to 2. Denominator simplifies to 4. So that's 2/4. And again, we know that simplifies to 1/2. All right. So we had found that before using rise over run, which is a lot easier, but it's still good to be able to find the slope using the slope formula, even if you're given a graph. Sometimes the graph might not be this easy to count rise over run. Maybe the scale on the y-axis is a big number and a lot different maybe than the scale on the x-axis, and sometimes that can give you a wrong read. So the ability to use the formula, even if you're given the graph, will be helpful at times, okay? So that's how you use the slope formula, even when you have the graph of an equation. Always just find 2 points that are on the graph and plug those values in here.